For the first time in my life, I stopped enjoying video games. And I don't mean I was just playing less. I'd literally turn on my PlayStation, scroll through my game library for like 10 minutes, look at the games I had spent hundreds of dollars on, and just turn it back off. Nothing looked fun. And that was really weird for me because growing up, gaming was probably my favorite thing to do. For a while, I just thought maybe I'm getting older, maybe I'm getting busy, maybe I'm just growing out of video games. But I wasn't. I still loved to game. I just had to completely change the way I played. When I was growing up, gaming was basically synonymous with playing with other people. For me, it started with Halo. My brother and I would play split screen all the time. Friends would come over, we'll get multiple controllers going, and we'd be sitting around one TV playing for hours. And this was before I was playing online because my dad was not buying Xbox Live. And I don't blame him. Imagine having to tell your dad, I know you bought this console for me, but can you also pay a monthly subscription so I can play online with other people? That wasn't happening. So if I wanted to play multiplayer, it had to be split screen. Then eventually I got into Black Ops 3, and it was pretty much the same thing. My friends would come over, we would play together, and then one day, one of my friends game shared with me, and through him, I was finally able to get Xbox Live. And that's when everything changed. Because now I could get home, turn on Black Ops 3, join a party, and all my friends were just there. We didn't have to be in the same house anymore. We could all get on whenever we wanted, talk for hours, play multiplayer, play zombies, mess around, talk trash, and I loved it. Honestly, when I think about my favorite memories playing games, a lot of them aren't about the games themselves, it's about the friends that I played with. And then Fortnite came out. And let me tell you, OG Fortnite was different. Everybody was on. You'd get home and there was no question about what you were doing. Who's on? Send the invite, where are we landing? And then somehow you're still playing hours later. Around this time, I picked up a few single player games like God of War and Red Dead. I'd see one that looked cool, buy it, and maybe play it a little bit. But then all my friends would get online and I had limited time to play games. All my friends were in a party saying, bro, get on. So I'm not sitting playing some campaign by myself, I'm getting on. So I never really gave single player games a fair chance. And honestly, I didn't care because playing multiplayer was giving me everything I wanted out of gaming. Until eventually, the thing that made multiplayer so fun started disappearing. It was now the year 2020. We've graduated and suddenly everyone had stuff to do. People had work, people had school, different schedules, different responsibilities. And getting everyone online at the same time went from something that just happened to something you basically had to schedule 3 business days in advance. I'd send a message in the group chat saying who's getting on tonight. There's a person working, there's a person going somewhere, and someone that says I'll get on, but they never get on. And then eventually you just realize, okay, I guess I'll just have to play the game by myself. And at first that was fine. I still enjoyed playing multiplayer games, so I kept playing them. But slowly, the entire reason I had fallen in love with multiplayer games wasn't really there anymore. Because when I think back to those nights playing BO3 or Fortnite, yeah, the games were great, but I wasn't having fun just because of the game. I was having fun because 5 of my friends were in a party doing something stupid. Without that, I started noticing how repetitive the actual loop had become for me. You get on, play matches, try to win, lose, get annoyed, queue again, rank up, unlock something, and then do it all over again. So I started getting into that competitive mindset where every game felt like I had to sweat, which was fine when I was younger and had all this time. But now I'd come home from work after being busy all day, and the last thing I wanted to do was sit down and spend the next 2 hours getting pissed off at some random guy in a Call of Duty lobby. I already worked today. Why am I clocking in for my second shift? And eventually, I just stopped playing. There wasn't some dramatic moment where I said, that's it, I'm quitting video games. It just slowly happened. I'd get home, turn on the PlayStation, look through my games, scroll, and just turn it back off. And that's when I started thinking maybe the problem wasn't the games I was playing. Maybe the problem was me. Because I've been playing games since I was a kid. And maybe I finally reached that point everyone talks about when you get older and your childhood hobbies just don't hit anymore. And for a while, I genuinely believed that. Until one completely random day, I turned on my PS5 and saw Resident Evil Village. Now, I had heard of Resident Evil, obviously, but I never played one. Actually, forget Resident Evil. I had never played a horror game in my life. Horror games just weren't something I was interested in. But for whatever reason, I saw Village sitting there that day and thought, you know what? Why not just try it? So I downloaded it and I started playing, and I was hooked like immediately. It was completely different from what I had been playing for years. I wasn't thinking about my rank. I wasn't waiting for anybody to get online. I wasn't getting mad because my teammate did something stupid. There was nobody I needed to keep up with. I could play for 20 minutes. I could play for 3 hours. I could stop whenever I wanted and come back tomorrow. And more importantly, I actually wanted to know what happened next. That feeling had been missing for me. Instead of playing because I wanted to win the next match, I wanted to know more about the world building and see where the story went. And I ended up grinding through the entire game in just a couple of days, which was funny because just a little while before this, I couldn't even convince myself to pick up a game. And now I couldn't even put one down. So naturally, after Village, I wanted more. So I went down the Resident Evil rabbit hole. I played through a bunch of those games. Then I got into Uncharted, finished the Uncharted series, and Spider-Man, then another game, and another, and another, and another. And suddenly, I had the complete opposite problem. Instead of looking at my library thinking, there's nothing I want to play, I was looking at all these games thinking, now where do I find the time to play all this? And that's when I finally realized what had happened. I didn't grow out of gaming, and multiplayer games didn't suddenly become terrible either. I was just trying to enjoy gaming the exact same way I had when I was younger, even though my life wasn't the same anymore. When I was younger, multiplayer gaming was perfect for me. I'd get home, all my friends are online, we'd hop into a party and spend the whole night playing. Of course, course I loved it. And honestly, some of my favorite gaming memories came from that era. Nothing is going to replace those original Fortnite nights, or playing Black Ops 3 into the late night, or sitting next to my brother playing Halo on the same TV. But we got older, everybody got busier, I got busier, and I kept trying to recreate that same feeling by playing the same type of games. Except the thing that actually made those games special to me wasn't there anymore. And single player games gave me a completely different reason to love gaming. And now I can come home after a long day, sit down, turn on a game, and just chill. I don't have to be good. I don't have to win. I don't have to wait for anybody. I can just get lost in a world for an hour, and that's enough. The funny part is, I can still play multiplayer games. If everyone hits the group chat and somehow the stars align and the whole squad gets online, I'm there. Because multiplayer with your friends is still one of the best parts of gaming. It just isn't the only way I play anymore. And I think that's what I was missing. For years, gaming and multiplayer had basically meant the same thing to me. Once I separated the two, gaming became fun again. And now I've gone from wondering whether I'd finally grown out of those video games to impatiently waiting for Wolverine and GTA 6. So yeah, I don't think I'm growing out of gaming anytime soon. But if you're currently in the phase where you turn on your console, stare at your library, and somehow nothing looks fun, try something completely different from what you normally play. You might not be tired of gaming, you might just be tired of the way you've been gaming.